Royal Traders. So today we're going to be doing a new trade on a 2-minute chart. We're going to be doing a 10-minute time frame, as you guys can see up here. You can change it right over here. For your chart time, for the 10 minutes, all you've got to do is adjust it if needed. Right now we're putting in for a buy. We've marked up all of our highs, all of our lows, and we've already set up our trend line. As you can see, that YMA, just like on this chart, is going to be confirming what direction the chart is going in. I'm going to move over here real quick because everything on that other chart is already marked up so that you guys can see from start to beginning how we mark up the chart. We're going to start off with a trend line in order to be able to confirm that everything is going the direction of the trend line. As you can see, every single one of these candles is bumping off of that trend line in order to be able to confirm that it is respecting it. So that's the first thing that we want to check out, including the direction that the MA is going in, which is that thick white line. And here we're just going to mark this up a bit to kind of get an easier feel of what exactly is going on here, where our points of interest are. So we're going to keep on marking up the chart. As you can see, it's kind of doing a bit of consolidation right here underneath the large white line, which is once again the MA moving average. So we're just going to mark up this area real quick. It makes it so much easier to see exactly what's going on without looking at each candle. And it's definitely something that I highly suggest that you do every single time because it's going to help you break down and confirm your next movement. Now, as you can see, where these trend lines are stopping also gives a good indication of where your momentum is on the chart, which is awesome. You're going to be going based off of that, and the RSI on the bottom, that white line in between the red and blue line. Here we put in a sale because we can see that this section of the chart is also going down, which you're going to see when I put this little trend line down. See, everything is connecting and going downward. So we're going to put in for a sale as well. That RSI is also going down at the very bottom of the screen. So this is a good prediction that the market is going to be going the opposite direction now. I said this is a 10-minute trade, so it is going to take a while to go through. So what we're going to be doing during this is just kind of confirming the trend, seeing where else we can find nice little points of interest. I do like to use a horizon line just for extra confirmation. And that did actually confirm as well that, hey, from this point, all of these candles are hitting this line and then going down. So that's also another confirmation. We can do it horizontally as well as vertically. And if we get confirmation in both directions, that's even better. We're going to go to the 5-minute chart just to make sure that it is respecting the 2-minute chart. It's always good to go a chart up in order to be able to verify that the future chart is respecting your current chart. We went back to our previous setup, just kind of see how that's going. Now, this, of course, we put in a buy. The MA is on the bottom, which means that it is respecting that buy. Whenever the MA white line is on the bottom, that means that everything on top of it is going to be buying. So that's the direction that we always want to go in. We really don't ever want to go against the trend. And you can see, too, with this RSI, every single time a point hits the same area as that RSI, it's going in the opposite direction. That's why I put that blue line at the bottom, because every single time it hits that line, it just happens to buy. As you can see at this point as well, it's going in a buying direction after it hits that area. So just getting a few more confirmations. And check back on our previous chart. I like to at least have two going at a time. Especially if I can find, multiple ones that are going in a good direction and are, nice and clear. If it's too overwhelming for you, of course, you can always just work on one chart at a time. But I've been doing this since 2020, so I do like to pick multiple charts. And I'm going to speed this up a little bit just so that you guys can kind of see. So give me a moment. Okie doke. Sorry, I was sitting there for a while looking at that other chart. I just moved over to the other one just to kind of see where it's going. There is a little bit of resistance here. So we're going to kind of try to find out, hey, are there any points of resistance as to why it hasn't gone in the direction as of yet? But as you can see, even though it's not fully in profit at this time frame, every single time it hits a green candle, it does become extremely wickish. So as you can see, there's a gigantic wick underneath that green candle, which means that it's most likely going to be going in the opposite direction. But we still want to kind of assure ourselves and make sure that, hey, was there anything that I missed? Is there anything that I could have done better? Or was there a point that I could have gone in better? So it's always a good idea to go, back and forth. It's not good to second guess yourself, but it is good to educate yourself. You can see in this chart, we are going in the direction that I put the trade in. It's a little bit wicky, but considering all of the confirmations that we have at this time frame, it's not really nerve-wracking to me. That's why I put this at a 10-minute and also increased it to a 12 so that the next trade that I put in, I can have a little bit more time for it to do its consolidating like it's doing right now. But it still is going in the direction that's needed, so that's no problem. After this video, I am going to start putting in more videos that will help you kind of, set up your trades. But I do want to kind of, put in a fast pace video as well, just letting the basics of how I put these in. Once again, always check your charts, go back and forth between the 2 minute, the 5 minute in order to be able to make sure that it's still respecting the direction of your trade. Now, of course, once you put in the trade, there's really nothing that you can do afterwards, but doing that does help better educate yourself. And we won that trade, so perfect. I am most likely going to try to clear off this chart because it's looking pretty crazy. And just in case if I want to come back here later, I really don't need all of these indicators on here. So he's gonna go here, delete that, go back to our other chart. And it does look like it is respecting our trend, which is awesome. I'm going to fast forward this a little bit because we've got almost 4 more minutes of this video, so just give me a second. Okay, so fast forwarding, there we go. Thank you guys very, very much for sticking with me throughout that. So as you guys can see, it's getting really wicky. It's going in the opposite direction, but that's no problem because I can see where the resistance is and that this is going to be coming right back down. That's why it's a good idea to give yourself some room, like give yourself 10, 12 minutes, really give yourself a good enough room for reconsolidation. Having a 15-minute chart is the most secure, to be honest. But with the way that this chart was going, I believe that 10 to 12 minutes, should be just enough time. Now, note that you're going based off of the minute chart that you're on as per how many minutes your trade is going to go for. So if you're on a 2-minute chart, each one of these candles is going to be 2 minutes long. So that'll kind of help you predict, okay, how many candles until it starts to go into the direction that I need it to. As you can see, all of the buying candles were getting very wicky. We're going back into a sell candle right now. I'm pushing down. I am so sorry if you guys can hear my dog snoring in the background, but I sadly cannot control that. So I'm doing a little bit of back and forth racing, but it does look like it's about to start really pushing down. So we're not gonna fret. There we go. And this is why it's a really good idea to mark up your chart.